Gary, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks for being on, Stu. God bless you for all your work, man.
Thank you. And I just want to mention here for the DirecTV and Dish Network viewing audiences, we have to cut in about a minute and a half. If you want to see the entire interview with Gary, head on over to Rumble or to StuPeters.com, of course. So right off the top, I mean, do you think all of this is real, or is this just part of a script in the movie that we're all watching?
I think this is all going up 60,000 feet. This is all part of spiritual warfare. This is a battle between heaven and hell. That's it. God wants Trump and Harris to be the race. He wants it to be that way. This is why now twice he's preserved his life. Now, why he wants that to be the race, that might be a question many Americans, including patriots, might not want to hear the answer to, depending on how it turns out. But it is very clear. This is now twice that God has permitted an assassination attempt on Trump and prevented it from happening. Why is he drawing our attention to it? So make everybody very clear and understanding he's in charge. Now, what's he going to do with that? Is that a tease for people to go over to your Rumble account or and watch it there? But I firmly believe that's what's going on. I mean, Butler, Pennsylvania was enough, of an act of divine providence. So now you have this, essentially a month and a half later. Come on. The communists, because that's what they are. They hate God. The entire crux of communism is a rebellion against the order of the universe, the logos, God, all of it. It's officially atheist. Marx made that clear. Every time it's been implemented, it's they kill people by the millions and millions. Communism's father is the devil. It's built on lies, and as Jesus Christ himself said, the devil was a liar and a murderer from the beginning. I saw him fall like lightning from the sky. And too many people, I think, you need to be understanding of all the details and out in the weeds, but you can't be there and lose sight of the giant picture here. What is at stake is Western civilization, which has been in a state of collapse, really, minimal at the beginning, but of course has accelerated as time's gone on here. But why? Well, because Western civilization is the most incredible hat tip to the truth about God and religion, and then the meaning of our lives, what we're supposed to do, what's our destiny, how we're supposed to, treat each other, what the role of government is, which is protect rights that God has given us, not grant rights to us.
Right.
So there's this huge clash of these two things. And I firmly believe that God wants the standoff between Trump and Harris because, as he said to the Israelites, I have put before you today life and death. Choose life that you may live. America is very close right now. And this is even some, people who think they're religious and follow Christ and everything else. America is very close to signing its death warrant. And for all of the blessings that we have been given in almost 250 years and everything, natural resources, all of it, every last bit of it, what have we used these blessings for largely? Well, to not oppose and in some cases advance the slaughter of 70 million children created by God, throwing them right back in his face, perverting children in schools, allowing traffic, sex abuse, the whole bit, 3 million missing children. The list just goes on and on, divorce and remarriage multiple times, all of it, all the immorality that has engulfed us as a nation. And I don't really know that you could say we've pushed back against it. Here, people here and there have, certainly movements here and there have, individuals and churches and, that sort of thing have, but collectively, we just keep descending. So I really think God has brought America to this point where, guys, choose life or choose death. Now, he has to keep Trump alive in this, he doesn't have to, but in this, sort of divine providential way of it. He keeps Trump alive because Trump and Harris really are so kind of diametrically opposed, even though they have overlap on some of the, moral issues, abortion and that sort of thing, although it's just an overlap. You need to have a clear choice. Brother, you couldn't get a more clear choice than this right here. And so God's like, there it is, America, choose. You can either have this guy win, which means somehow, you manage, it's not like it's a win and it's over, but okay, what was your motivation for him? God asks America. What was your motivation for her? For her winning. I'll put winning in quotes because we all know what happened in 2020.
And we've done nothing to fix it, by the way.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the little bits here and there, and fits and starts and backs and this and the whole bit and everything. Look, the entire system has become corrupt. And when it is that corrupt, it is squarely at the feet of the service of Satan.
Yeah, and that's because our country and its so-called elected representatives are doing the bidding of the synagogue of Satan.
Absolutely, they are. They have been for quite a while, but I mean, I think this is a question of degree at this point. And they're all. I mean, Hearst, like they want to take young Americans and throw them into foreign wars and chew them up like ground beef. They want to take there's another $100 billion on the table for Ukraine.
Just cannon fodder.
Never
just cannon fodder. That's all they are. They're just there as bait. Spark off World War III. Raytheon and Lockheed Martin need some more money.
Yeah. I have to say, Stu, like you, I've been in this business for 40 plus years. I've won Emmys. I've covered political stuff my entire life, my entire career. Even I was appalled when the news broke yesterday, and all of a sudden I was at the assassination attempt, and all of a sudden I hear Lester Holt and CB from NBC and CBS, and them all saying essentially this is Trump's fault. Oh, he's going to tone down the rhetoric. I saw an interview with a Trump campaign spokeswoman, and the first question leveled at her is like, "Oh, this is really bad. Somebody shot at him. Is the Trump campaign going to tone down the rhetoric so this sort of thing doesn't happen?"
Tone down what rhetoric exactly?
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know,
he's certainly not the Trump of 2015 going into 2016.
No,
he's
my book. He could turn that up.
Yeah, I was hoping he could turn up the rhetoric a little bit.
Yeah.
And really be a whole lot more America first and a whole lot more firm and stand strong against this media and against Harris and Walls. I mean, these people are absolute criminals, and they're committing these crimes right out in the wide open. But you mentioned that this was a spiritual battle. And I know that we're here to talk about the Trump assassination attempt, but as part of that, you mentioned 3 million missing kids. Where the hell are they?
Yeah. Where are they? Well, you know where they are. If they're not dead, they're being sexually exploited, traded, thrown into slavery, bounced around by, billionaires or whoever wants to, there's an entire industry of this. I mean, think about this. There is an entire industry that has a hierarchy to it, a plan, an organization to rape children. It's revolting. God help those people when they die. And there are tens of thousands of people involved in all of this, all of it. And, you simply can't run an operation that big without having all sorts of ancillary bits and pieces here and there. And, who owns the property where the kids are being smuggled onto, and who's getting paid off to shut their mouths about this property and that property, and who's running them and where the car is coming from. And all of it. And that's just one thing. I mean, those are the 3 million children that they're sex trafficking. They've got 70 million children that they've killed, and now want to enshrine that in national law and all these state referendums and the whole bit. I mean, ultimately, that's how this is satanic and it's diabolical, is that the object of the hate is innocence in the womb and outside of the womb. That's how Satan hates humanity. He loathes humanity because it was what triggered him as the fall from grace. Again, as Jesus said, I saw Satan fall like lightning from the sky. He will destroy everything in his path, and not because he gets any joy out of it. I mean, this is like a little theological sidebar to make. He doesn't get joy out of it. It's just his nature. Wind blows. That's its nature. Water is wet. It's its nature. Fish swim, birds fly, whatever. Satan's nature
and fire is hot.
To destroy. And fire is hot.
I'll tell you what, the lake of fire is really hot. And unfortunately, a lot of people's souls are going to burn there eternally. But, one of the biggest tricks that Satan was the greatest lie that he was ever able to tell was that he doesn't exist and that hell isn't real.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, right now, we are a nation under judgment by God, and without repentance and without a serious spiritual revival, we're going to watch this nation go dark It's going to fall from the grace of God. It's going to be the darkest nation that the planet has ever seen.
Absolutely.
And we need to be steadfast, no matter how unpopular or controversial it's deemed. We have to be willing to stand up and have the most difficult of conversations. And we don't just need to have them on platforms like this one, broadcasting to millions of people. We need to be having them at the grocery store with the lady in line behind you at the checkout. You need to be having them at the coffee shop. You need to be having them outside of church where all of your like believers are, but in the streets where others' souls are at risk of that eternal burning in hell at the lake of fire, which is very real. If you really want to start saving humanity, then take your kids and point them to the cross. If you really want to save humanity, get married and start having a bunch of kids and raising them upright. Instead of objectifying women, and instead of telling them that they're worthless or that you hate them or that you're a virgin when you're 27 years old and you're never going to have sex because you hate it and you think it's disgusting and you hate women. No, go find one and marry her and help to fight the war on whites, the war on Christians, the war on humanity, the war on freedom, the war on individual liberty. If you polled everybody on the face of the planet and it was an honest poll, I guarantee you 99.9% of people would say, we love all of the above. And so with 8.5 billion people on the planet and only a few thousand satanic psychopaths doing the bidding of the synagogue of Satan, guess what? We have a very real chance at victory, which is why I stay here fighting every single day. If I thought that it was imminent that we were going to lose, I'd be at home with my kids right now.
Yeah.
But no, I'm here and I'm fighting.
Well said, brother. You know, I'd add on to this. I mean, let's say Trump wins, however that happens. Trump wins, you know. Okay, then what? If all we have at that point is just a pause. Now, what are we going to do with that win? You know, I've likened it to like landing on the beaches of Normandy. You could have just sort of dug in and said, yay, you know, we got it on the beach. Okay, big deal. And then Hitler's panzers come up and push off it back into the channel. Or you advance your cause. We have to have a really serious conversation when this is over. When the electioneering is over, November 5th, and then all the 5 or 6 days afterwards that they take to try to rig it. When that's over, where are we as a nation?
Yeah, and I would argue, I push back on that one just a little bit, Gary, and I would argue that I don't even think we have a pause because Satan doesn't care who the president of the United States is. And Donald Trump is not Jesus Christ.
Correct.
And so a Donald Trump presidency doesn't even pause the attack that we are facing that's imminent. And as a matter of fact, it may bolster, it actually may empower or light a fire under the ass of the enemy who is doing it, because there may be some pushback in certain areas by a populist president. But I think that the attack becomes even more invigorated and even more fiery, and that it's going to be up to us, to we the people, to the believers of the gospel, to the followers of Jesus Christ, and to the obedient of God. And it's going to be up to us. God commands us to pick up the sword and fight. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, no, that's all I meant was that we get the opportunity to do. I don't, Trump is not, you know, I mean, I've got a number of problems with Trump's, you know, particularly moral issues and things. The policies are great, and I get the price of gas down and all that. Yay, but that doesn't save a nation in its moral character. But we have a moment, maybe that's a better way to say it. We have a moment where we can say, okay, here's what we need to do, and here's the opportunity that we have now. And I'm a little concerned personally that so many people who sort of self-identify as followers of Christ sort of I don't think they even get all of this now. I think a Trump win will just put them like more comfortably on their laurels. Let's go back to playing Warcraft or, you know, cheering for the Bears or whatever. Like, dudes, your entire civilization, you understand, your children are going to be taken from you. Your grandchildren probably will never be given an opportunity to be born. The great way to say it, the satanic psychopath crowd that runs the world right now, they want to eliminate, they're on record, they want to eliminate 7/8 of the world's population. And how do you do it? I mean, it's astounding to me, the spiritual blindness by people who say they follow Christ. I mean, you can't follow Christ and be this blind. There's something wrong. It's that clear.
And prayer is very powerful, and I'm not taking anything away from prayer. And prayer I've seen do amazing things, but it can't be. It cannot be prayer alone. There has to be action amongst God's people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, there has to be.
And as for differences
This,
with Trump, everybody knows that we have our differences with him. Operation Warp
sure.
Speed, locking down the country, the moral stuff that you were speaking of, personnel
Yeah,
decisions, this
yeah,
vehement and unquestionable, undying support of the nation state of Israel that is just committing a genocide and ethnic cleansing in Gaza right now and expanding that land grab and war efforts into Lebanon and eventually Iran to spark off World War III.
yeah.
And we think that all of that should be questioned. It should be condemned. You know, everybody knows what we have to say about him taking $100 million from Miriam Adelson. We don't like that because it seems to me that now the guy who was originally in the category of the unbuyable and the unbought that didn't need any money from anybody, now all of a sudden is taking it from the very apparatus that has its satanic grip on this country.
Yeah, I don't think it's not really a glass half full, half empty thing, the choice. It's really the glass is empty or there's some liquid near the bottom of the glass. I mean, that's your choice right now. That said, I'd rather have a little swallow than have a completely dry glass. That said, all that does is allow you some freedom to be able to push back against everything you just reeled off. You got this has to be pushed back against.
We'll see. What
I mean,
are we,
I don't know how
49?
many last chances God can give America. Honest to God, really. This is like a quadruple overtime game for the Super Bowl right now. I mean, it's crazy.
And it doesn't even feel like election season. What are we, 49 days away from the election now, Gary?
Yeah, I think today is 50.
I can't wait till it's over. I can tell you that because I'm sick of watching the movie. I'm tired of reading. I'm tired of reading the script about elections and a two-party representative constitutional republic that is supposed to be doing the bidding of the American people somehow, and instead we have this uniparty duopoly.
Yeah, I mean, and why did that happen? Because people, I mean, it's the same. None of us should be surprised that civilizations fall. I mean, they do. Empires fall, civilizations fall. What are we in? What historians identify as the 22 civilizations now. We're either the 22nd or the 23rd. You know, this sort of thing lasts about 200, 250 years. Here we are, 248 years were past. So I don't think we'd be surprised by that because, I mean, civilizations are built by humans and humans are fallen. And this is a fallen world. And eventually the worst part of humans, because, there's going to be power hungry people who want to take advantage of something. And enrich themselves. And we've certainly seen that. That's kind of the rule in DC. Not kind of. It is the rule in DC. And there's maybe, I don't know them, but there's a rare exception here or there. But when you look across the whole panoply of this, it's just evil kind of codified in law so that small people can be made to despair. Innocent people, not that anybody's innocent, but innocent in relation to that, can be made to despair, feel miserable. I mean, I think I saw a stat the other day, it's like 60% of children under 18 have thought about suicide. What? 60%. You freaking kidding me? What? And these massive, the destruction of the family. All of it. I mean, to the degree, and I'll just use kind of a catchphrase for it, but to the degree that Satan can feel glee over something, he's certainly feeling glee over that. He can't, but just a expression. We're the enemy. We are the enemy of the diabolical, not God. Nobody challenges God. Even Satan knows that. It's humanity that is the enemy of Satan. And all of those billions of demons that were tossed out of the angelic realm by Saint Michael and the good angels.
Well, that I agree with you 100,000%. And I appreciate you sticking around for an extended conversation for the Stu Crew audience. I was hoping for more time with you on DirecTV and Dish Network. Will you come back again sometime soon?
I'd love to. Absolutely. You're right on, man. You're spot on. People got to listen to this.
Wonderful. Gary Voris, we will have him back again very soon.